Hey everybody, Jordan Belfort here for a really special night. Now, I am actually in New York City right now at my publisher, Simon & Schuster, and I'm doing, I guess what you could call a Facebook Live book signing. So I have all these books here, and I'm giving everybody a chance around the world to get a copy of my new book, The Way of the Wolf, which is an awesome book, by the way. It truly is. And you get a chance to get a signed copy tonight for no extra charge at belfortbook.com. And also you get a chance to call and ask some questions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the book. I'm going to go through a couple of fun things here, like I'm doing a really quick rapid fire question and answer session. And I'll just, also answer some questions that were called in. So call in your questions. Best thing about tonight is I found out at the last second that it's actually my Facebook platform, my fans, so I can fucking curse, right? So I can say whatever I want. I can be myself, so we'll have some fucking fun tonight, okay? So this is all fun and games here. We're going to have a great time. So let me first start off again, tell you the website, belfortbook.com. Click on the link, get your signed copy, okay? It'll make my publisher very happy, make me happy too, okay? So let me just first start off and tell you why I wrote the book, okay? I wanted to write this book for years, probably 7 or 8 years, but I hate writing. I tried to use ghostwriters to write for me, but I said to myself, this book is my legacy. It really is. You don't write books to make money. It's not about that. You write a book to spread a message. Truly, there's other ways to make money. You guys know I know how to make money, right? I don't do it for that. I do it to spread a message. And in this case, it's a message that basically any human being, once they learn the art of persuasion, once they learn the straight line system, which is what this book teaches, you can take your life and move it in any direction you want, achieve anything you want. And over the last 10 years, I've been going around the world teaching the straight line to people. And the feedback I've gotten over the last 10 years has been extraordinary. Changed people's lives in countries all over the world, languages, right? Pretty much everyone out there. And so finally, the time came, I said, I have video trainings, I have stuff on the internet, on YouTube, you name it. I've done live trainings from Mongolia to Chile to United States to Iceland to England, you name it, right? To Africa, every continent you could think of. But there was no book. So finally, I kind of rolled up my sleeves, threw out the idea of using a ghostwriter because I wanted this book to be special. I wanted this book to be almost like the Think of Grow Rich for the next century. So something that could be read again and again. Something that you could turn to is almost a handbook for life, not just for selling. I'm a big believer that the biggest mistake that people make is that if they're not in sales, they think that sales is just for salesmen. And it's the biggest misconception. It's the biggest mistake you can make if you're a success-oriented person. When it comes to matters of success, making money, there is no other skill besides sales that is even close to as important. It's just the way it is. And if you don't believe me, I could ask you to go watch after this, not right now, but go Google Warren Buffett and Persuasion, and you'll see that Warren Buffett, someone you would never think would say this, says that if there was one skill that he could pay to learn, it would be persuasion. And he actually did that back in the 50s. He took back then, Dale Carnegie was the gold standard back then, and he took that course and it changed his life. Well, today, the straight line system is the gold standard, and that's what The Way of the Wolf is all about. Right? It's about literally reading this book and empowering yourself to live a better life, to make more money, to have more fun making money, right? To feel comfortable doing it. And it's not about becoming me. It's about becoming your best self. So one of the things I talk about in this book is this good enough factor, meaning that you don't have to be an expert with the straight line system to get amazing results. If you're just good enough at it, just a little bit goes a really long way in terms of your ability to make money. And also, let's now cross over from being a salesman to just a human being. So let's talk about a mom or a dad trying to convince or persuade your children to make their beds in the morning or do their homework or brush their teeth. How about a teacher trying to influence your students on the value of education? How about a lawyer trying to influence a jury that their client is innocent? A pastor trying to influence their congregation? A politician trying to influence their constituency? It goes on and on and on. And I can't tell you, I'll tell you what I think is probably the saddest thing, and this is a reality, is the massive number of people out there who are really smart, really hardworking, success-oriented. They want to make money. They want to improve their life. They want to help the people that they love. And that's, so much of success is that it's not just for you. It's the impact it has on the people around you, your children, your parents, your community, right? And there's people who want that, and they have great ideas, and they're brilliant. But because they lack the ability to convey that message in a way that connects with other people and inspires them to take action, to become part of that, to either buy something or buy into it, to work for them, to get behind them. What happens is they end up essentially dying with their music on their lips. Their idea stays inside them. It doesn't become a reality. And after a couple of times of trying to go out there and share a message and failing at it because they just don't know how, they stop trying. And they start living a smaller and smaller life. And they don't ever get to express the greatness that's inside of them. And to me, that's insanity. Because here's the deal. You can get to a point with persuasion, and look at it as just communication. You can quickly get to a point by using the straight line where you can become proficient enough that it will just simply not be what holds you back from getting what you want in life. And that's why I wrote this book for everybody, not just for salespeople, for everyone, so you'd have a handbook, a guidebook, so to speak, a roadmap to getting what you want in life for any aspect, whether it's business, personal. If you're a young, man or woman, you're a guy or girl, you want to go out there and meet the person of your dreams. I mean, they always, Chris Rock makes a great joke. He goes, when you go out on a date, you don't go yourself. You send your representative, right? It's your best self you put out there in the first few months, right? Well, some people are really good at that. And some people are just, they don't know how to do it. Now, I'm not saying you should go out there and lie to people about who you are. My point is, some people, you're beautiful inside. You have so much to share with another person, another human being. You can be the greatest partner in the world, yet because you don't know how to get into rapport with someone, eye contact, just how you engage and how you listen. See, so much of selling, and one of the things, I'll just give you a couple of quick hints tonight. I want you to buy the book. Everything is in there. It's a complete roadmap. There's nothing left out. I threw the kitchen sink at this, and I wrote it, and the reason I wrote it myself, just so you know, is that I wanted it to be a snappy, flowing read. So like the movie, I know you probably all saw the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. Hopefully you read the original book. Some of you did, right? But it's written in a way that it's actually almost like a page turner. So you're getting the information in a way that's going to make you laugh, it's going to engage you, make you feel good, and also make you want to run out there and take action. So that's why I wrote this book, all right? So, and just getting back to close that loop now, what I'm saying is, so for non-salespeople, you're going to use this book and, to really allow yourself to be a more effective human being, to empower yourself to get the life you want. If you're a salesperson, it's a no-brainer. Right? You want to go out there, increase your closing rate, learn how to shorten your sales cycle, be more effective. I mean, this is like manna from heaven to a salesperson, a sales manager. It shows you how to duplicate yourself, how to essentially systemize a sales force. And for an entrepreneur, well, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't think you're a salesperson, you probably need to have your head examined, because all you entrepreneurs are fucking salespeople, right? You got to go out there and sell your idea. You got to sell people on buying into your idea. Bottom line, okay? So what am I saying? Sales is for everybody. And as soon as you realize that and actually start studying it and essentially solving the problems, you'll say, okay, I'm not good at it, fair enough. I'll solve the problem. I'll read this book. I'll become proficient. Your life will literally explode with what you want. Happiness, joy, money, all right? And freedom. That really, money equals freedom. Freedom to do what you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want, as much as you want. That's what freedom really amounts to. So stop being a slave to the ideas that are locked inside of you and can't come out because you don't know how to express them. Look at it this way, right? Imagine you have an idea that's X. Well, let's say the idea is 100, right? And if you're an awesome communicator, it's like there's a multiplier. Your idea seems like it's 5 times X, right? Because you are able to explain it well and get people excited. If you're a terrible communicator, it's like 1/10 of X. You divide the idea. So your idea is as good as your ability to explain it and to motivate other people to give it a shot. So you're all salespeople, you're all persuaders, and this book will literally, I'm sure many of you probably know enough about the straight line to know it's the real deal. It's going to give you the answers you're looking for. So again, it's belfortbook.com. And let me just give you a quick tidbit now about sort of how I wrote the book in terms of what's in there. And then we'll go to a lot of great questions here. And I'll filter through the questions and answers, and we'll go like that. Okay, so very quickly here, I divided the book up into 12 chapters. And this is on the advice of my beautiful wife, fiancée wife. She's sitting next to me over here. Hi, Ann. Okay, and we really worked on this book together. She sat, and I tortured her because I'm the slowest writer in the world, right? And she says, this book has to be the straight line, meaning it's got to be written in a straight line. So as you write this book, you're essentially teaching it in the same way you sell. So that's how the book is written. It's written in order with, how you start off in the first 4 seconds of a conversation. So essentially, how do you capture someone's attention, position yourself as an expert, and how important it is to take control of the conversation. This book explains that and shows you how to do that. Shows you what's important and how you actually do it. It's a roadmap. From there, what do? You take that perception you create that you're an expert. You take control of the sale, but not so you can become a talking head and just talk, right? That's ridiculous. You take control so you then can use that control to start asking questions, to identify people's needs, their desires, their pain points, their value systems, right? So that's why you need to be in control. So you can ask people intelligent questions, not see each other ram shit down their throat. That doesn't work. So once you have control, you ask these questions, and there are certain questions you need to ask. There are certain tonalities you need to ask them in to get the right responses. And then once you've asked all the questions that you need to ask, right? And you have all the information you need, you can then make a decision. Does my product fit for you? Can I help this person? Or maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe they don't have enough money. It's just the wrong product. And at that point, you're not going to try to sell because there's ethics involved, right? You don't want to ethically, slam things down people's throat if they can't help them. You want to essentially sell to people who you can improve their lives, right? So the point is at that point, you have this transition where you say, okay, I can help them or I can't. If you can help them, you have these very simple magic words you're going to say, which is based on everything you've said to me. This is a perfect fit for you. Let me show you why. That's your transition, and I go through that whole aspect of the straight line, and that leads you into the main body of your sales presentation, where you're looking to establish 3 things, and I'm not going to tell you what they are, not because I'm holding back. I just want to move quickly. There's 3 things that must be established in your presentation, and at the end of your presentation, you're going to ask for the order for the first time. At which point there are 3 possible responses. They could say yes, and they want to buy, which is awesome. Doesn't happen that often. Usually they are not going to say, and the second one is no, I'm not interested. You don't get that very much because those people were weeded out already when you were asking your questions. And the third group are the people who say, let me think about it. Let me call you back. All the maybes. Bad time of year. Gotta speak to my wife, my business partner, Santa Claus, the fucking tooth fairy, whatever it might be. Okay, so bottom line is, once you get to that point, you ask for the order for the first time, you get that first objection, now you enter what's called the back half of the straight line, where we use a technique called looping, and by the way, the last chapter of the book is on looping. So before looping, I go through how to structure that presentation, and I really get into it at the deepest level, and then we go through this process called looping, which is the most effective strategy for handling objections. It really gets down to what objections really are, which are smoke screens for uncertainty. Selling is about certainty. Objections represent a state of uncertainty, and it shows you how to essentially loop back into your presentation to create even more certainty, and you watch the objections evaporate. Now, the problem with many sales systems out there is that they dance around some of these issues. They cover some of them. Sometimes some of the bad ones, just like they're fucking wacky, right? But many systems out there have little bits of it. The thing about the straight line, the beauty of it, is that it's a step-by-step, both end-to-end system that literally is a turnkey solution for selling anything to anyone in any industry. It works for anything. I've taught it to people in every industry you can think of, in every country you can think of, and the results I've gotten have been nothing short of staggering. So now that this book is out here, it gives people a chance. There's something special, to me at least, about curling up in bed at night with a book, opening up that book, right? It's belfortbooks.com. You can get your signed copy. You curl up with that book at night and you start flipping through the pages, and you underline the things that are important, and the impact is almost like there's a motivational aspect to knowing that you have almost your little Bible at night that's going to motivate you for the next day, give you that little extra leg up. And I know for sure, because I do it myself, and I have a book I love that I have some strategies in there. This book is going to be like your best friend when it comes to making money as a salesperson, or when it just comes to living a more empowered life as a human being. So I strongly recommend that listen, books are, thankfully, and books are pretty cheap, right? If you're 20, 30, you get too crazy, they'll take the hook, all right? So here is the first question, number 1, from Nick, from Fargo, North Dakota. Wow, what's going on? Any dead bodies over there, Nick? Okay, so Jordan, what is your best go-to one-line pitch? You know, Nick, good question. I wish it was so simple where there was one magic line that you could say that would cover all sales. It doesn't work that way. It's almost like the old, you know, sell me this pen. I might as well sign a book while I'm at, right? Some of the books you guys are gonna get here, right? So sell me this pen so I can sign my books, right? So is there a magic answer to that? The answer is no. There's not one thing you can say. This pen is the best pen in the world. This pen writes upside down. This pen never runs out of ink. This pen ran to the fucking moon, right? It's the cheapest pen in the world. It's not about that. When someone says, sell me a pen, all it does is it triggers you to begin running a straight line pattern. Starting at there's a beginning and there's an end. And it follows the chapters in this book. What you do first, what you do second. We call that the straight line syntax. The order in which you go about creating certainty. That's it. That's what you're doing. So it's not that there's a one line. There's one syntax, one order. See, the book starts out, there's the prologue, and the actual chapter 1, the first words are, every sale is the same. That's the straight line system. So no matter what I'm selling, no matter who I'm selling it to, it doesn't matter whether it's a tangible product like a car or a boat or a home, or an intangible like an idea, something on the internet, it doesn't matter. It could be a service. Every sale is the same. So it's not that there's one line, but there's one syntax, one order in which I go about creating certainty. It always starts with that first step. I must take immediate control of the sale, position myself as an expert, because that's what opens me up to influence another person. If I'm not in control, if I'm not perceived as being an expert, I'm screwed. They're not going to listen to me. They'll start cutting me off. And that's the first thing you need to do. And from there, you follow the steps in the syntax, which is laid out in the book, and you're golden. Okay? That's the answer to question number 1. Number 1, how do you deal with cheapskates? This is from Elise in, I guess, Ailes from Ljubljana, Slovenia. By the way, I have a good friend from Slovenia. I play tennis with. Great country, Slovenia. I heard there's beautiful girls in Slovenia and good-looking guys too, but who cares about them, okay? Anyway, so we have Slovenia, and the question is, how do you deal with cheapskates? Well, so here's the deal. Cheapskates fall into a category of what I call people with high action thresholds, people that are very difficult to sell to. So I think that, you know, a person who's a cheapskate, and remember, there's 2 types of cheapskates. There's those that are simply not so much cheapskates, but they just don't have a lot of money, and they have to struggle to afford something. And there are those that have all the money in the world that still are going to chisel you and nickel and dime you. Well, at the end of the day, it's really about getting someone so certain, being able to get someone to a level of such certainty where they're so sure that your product is the best one out there, it's going to solve their problems, remove their pain. And if you do that correctly, and you're positioned as an expert, and you say, now again, you got to follow the patterns in the book, okay? Because, you know, it's a step-by-step formula. But what you'll see is that people who are cheapskates will not quite be so cheap when they're absolutely certain that the information you've given them is going to help them solve their life, help their problem, whatever it is in their life. So the point is by being incredibly persuasive and building certainty, cheapskates become not so cheap. Because you're not going to change the way someone is, but what you can do is build up their certainty to offset their natural tendency. Okay? Now at New South Wales, Sydney, love one of our greatest places. Daniel, okay? Given the opportunity, would you do it all over again? Well, so here's the answer. Would I do the hookers and the drugs again? The answer is yes, even though my wife is sitting next to me. Because I'm pre-disastered now. So I learned my lesson. I would never do it again. Right? So today, but back when you're 25 years old, I had to go through that to become the person I am today. Okay? Now I would never do something like that again. But for sure, I wouldn't redo my life because that's my life. My life is my life. And it got me to the spot that I'm at today, which is I can take the mistakes I've made in the past, and those are mistakes, by the way, some of the stuff I did, right? And use it as a platform to help other people live better lives. What I would change, though, and I'm going to be clear about this, is the things I did that caused other people to lose money or hurt other people, whether it was my family or even innocent investors. Some were not so innocent, but innocent, whatever it might be, okay? So the point is that I would not redo the self-destructive behavior because I'd survived it and it made me a better person by it. I grew stronger from that, but I certainly would change the behavior that was destructive to other people around me, those I didn't know and those that I love. Okay? Next question. Okay? Mr. Belfort, this is from Nicholas in Elwood, Illinois. Mr. Belfort, I just wanted to tell you I'm a big fan of your story is the ultimate comeback. God bless and Godspeed to you, sir. Thank you. No question there, but I love it. That was a great guy. I paid him to write. No, I'm just kidding, okay? So thank you for Nicholas. You're awesome, Nicholas, okay? You're the best. If you want to ask a question, you can submit a question, okay? Next, Boris. Boris from Dolgan Prudny, Moscow region, wherever the fuck that is, okay? I've been to Moscow once. I'm going back to Moscow this year. Don't forget to buy your ticket to my Moscow seminar, okay? So let's hear Boris. Can the straight line system work in other languages? For example, in Russian, the answer is da, a big da, okay? Yes, it can. It works in any language. Why? And I've taught it, by the way, all over the world. I've taught it in languages where I've been on stage. There's 5,000 people in the audience, and they're all wearing headsets. And as I'm speaking, it's being simultaneously translated, so they're hearing it in real time, which is awesome. And I've been in situations like in, in Indonesia, where it's consecutive. So in other words, I say a sentence, then they actually chime in, they repeat the sentence, which is a pain in the ass, by the way, right? So I've done it both ways. In fact, when I was in St. Petersburg about 4 months ago, it was consecutive. It was problematic, but they still loved the event. But when I go to Moscow, it will be real time, so you really get the benefit. Here's the deal. The straight line system is based on psychology. It's based on that human beings have certain triggers that are just fundamental to the human existence. Why people buy? They move away from fear. They move towards pleasure. They respect people who are experts. They don't respect people who are novices. They don't listen to novices, right? These are universal things that everybody around the world has been taught since they're yay big. There are certain peculiarities, which I discuss here with body language, especially in Asia and stuff, but those are minor differences. But look, overall, the success stories that I've had, they come from all over the world. Whether it's in Iceland, whether it's in Mongolia, whether it's in Taiwan, whether it's in Australia, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what your culture is. At the end of the day, the same core elements, there are 5 of them that are the core elements that drive human influence. And those are human things. They're not Brazilian things, they're not American things, they're not Chinese things, they're just human things. So yes, it works in any language, and all you have to do is follow the syntax in the book, buy the book, at belfortbook.com, right? So, no, in all seriously, you gotta, let me sign another book right now, because I gotta sign all these books while I'm talking, so I can't walk and chew gum, sign and talk, right? So anyway, so the point is, for those of you around the world, don't worry, it works in any language, okay? It'll make you into a killer, okay, in a good way, and it'll really help you get what you want in life, all right? Thank you, Boris. Okay, next, Raphael in Doral, Florida. Good golf course there. It's probably underwater right now, okay? Hello, Jordan. Where do you see the next bubble coming from, real estate or Bitcoin? The answer is Bitcoin, okay? I'm not a fan. I was a fan of Bitcoin as for a trade maybe a couple of years ago. Let me give you the best example of what Bitcoin is right now. I remember in 2007 when I went to get a haircut, and as the woman's cutting my hair, she's also telling me that she's now a mortgage broker, right? And then you go and you go take a ride for a limousine, and the driver goes, yeah, I do mortgages and real estate on the side. Like everyone and their grandmother had become a mortgage broker or was selling houses or flipping houses. That's when the end is near. You just know when everybody is getting into it and everyone thinks they can make a quick buck, that's when the top is that you're at the top and it's going to plummet. And that's not because I'm such a smart guy. It's history repeating itself again and again and again. Well, guess what? That's where we are right now with Bitcoin. In the last 6 months to a year, Bitcoin has, just flooded into the public consciousness. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone thinks it's a quick way to make money. And I think that's a telltale sign of a massive bubble. I really believe that. So I'd be very, very careful. I'm not a believer in, by the way, in Bitcoin for other reasons as well. But in terms of just a bubble, this is the bubble, guys. And at any moment, and remember, what's the die of Bitcoin? Well, if there ever was a currency or anything that lived by the greater fool theory, meaning that it's worth whatever a greater fool will buy from you. So if someone will pay $1 more, it's worth that, right? So that's called the greater fool theory. Well, at some point in time, there'll be some event that's going to scare people, and this thing could plummet. So I'd be very, very careful. And also, if you have Bitcoin, make sure that you protect it because people can get hacked and Bitcoin can disappear. And by the nature of cryptocurrency, there's no way to replace it and report it stolen. So there are inherent problems to that. I think that one day there will be a cryptocurrency that's probably backed by a consortium of governments that becomes a viable alternative to regular currency. But I think that time is a bit off. Okay? Hope that answers your question, Raphael. Okay, next we have Matt in St. Louis, Missouri. You are the best of the best, Jordan. My question is, as a young broker, what kind of expectation did you set for yourself every day before the bell and after the bell? I went from not being shit in sales to being a young stockbroker, being here with my family every day. You are the best all time. Thank you. That's great. So obviously you used the straight line to become a top producer. You're awesome. You're one of millions of people, but you're awesome, okay? Good question. Here's what I did. So, and I really suggest, this is in the book, by the way. It's in the book in one of the chapters in sales funnels. But here's what you need to understand.
That is going to get on your face.
It's going to get on my face?
Okay.
Say hi, Ann.
Hi.
Okay. It's like my mom and my wife and everything. Yeah. So is she your wife or is she your fiance? Well, she's my fiance, but since she tells me what to do all the time, she's really my wife, right? Okay. Hi, honey?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, long story. So, the story is because I've been married a few times. She's like more special to be engaged to me than that, right? Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay. I'm in trouble now, okay? I'm in trouble. So, okay, any other comments on that? No, everyone's laughing. Everyone's good. Okay. So, back to, let me sign another book. With that, I'll sign another book, okay? So, what was I talking about now? The question was, oh, yeah, goals, right? So, here's what I would do. What? Show them sign. Let me show you how I sign, okay? Here's how I sign. You can't read the fucking thing, okay? Jordan Belfort, okay? So, in the morning, what I would do is I'd say to myself, I know how many new accounts I need to open up every single month. And based on that, based on how many accounts I need to open, I could project how much money I'd make because I knew each account was worth X number of dollars. So what I did is I would set a certain number of, say, I'm going to make sure that I need to open up 20 new accounts every single month, right? And if there's 20 work, there's one account per day. But if I hit one account, I wouldn't stop because some days are going to be dry and some days are going to be, just everything's going right. So what I would do is sit down blocks of time. I'd say, I'm going to dial that phone for X number of hours. So I would set blocks of time to dial the phone and I wouldn't stop no matter how many accounts I opened, no matter how hot I was. I keep going and going because when you're on a roll, you want to keep going. And in the days that, by the way, where things were not going well, if I exhausted my time, I wouldn't keep going if I was cold. I'd go my block of time I allotted and I would stop. Okay, so on some level it's about time management, but also it's about making sure, I don't believe you ever do well when you dabble at anything. So I never would like, oh, let's open up accounts for 15 minutes and see if I get lucky. No, you need to have a 3-4 hour block of time and you sit down, you put your head down and you keep doing it. And if you open 5 accounts, then you go to open 10. So don't stop when you're hot. You keep going when you're on a roll. And when you're not hot, you just go for the allotted time and then you come back the next day and that's that. That's my system. It's in the book. It works, okay? Cody from Saluda, South Carolina. When did you become clean? My day where I stopped going like an animal, I was partying hard, was April 17th, 1997, right? So it was 20 years ago. And that was the day that I went to rehab. So it's been a long, long time. I'll still drink a little bit here and there. I never was a big drinker. But the days of me doing massive quantities of cocaine and quaaludes are of the past, thank God. And one thing I will tell you, I don't want to make this about drugs, but I'm not anti-drug. This is not about being anti-drug. Again, I hope you're not doing drugs. If you are, hey, whatever. You're young, you do what you do, right? But here's the point. Just remember this. Typically, at the end of the day, it's not a happy ending. You get it? It doesn't typically end well. So just be careful. Nothing is terrible in moderation. The problem with drugs is that they're insidious. I started off saying I'll do coke or quaaludes on a Friday night. This way I could recover on Saturday and then turn to my wife here, honey, which Muppet am I?
You're an amalgamation of Muppets.
I'm an amalgamation of Muppets. Which Muppets am I?
You're Oscar because you're kind of messy.
I'm Oscar because I'm messy. Thanks, honey.
And then I think you'd probably be Animal from the band because he was crazy.
I'm Animal from the band, whoever that is, who's crazy. Any positive you can throw in there? Is there any positive Muppet? Who's the cool Muppet? Is there a good-looking cool Muppet that like?
It's not easy being you, so maybe you could be the Kermit.
Kermit, not easy being me. I'm Kermit. Oh my God. Okay, it's not easy being green. Okay. Next, okay, from Charles in Hull, East Yorkshire. Hey Charles, how you doing, mate? How do you create your vision? Good question. So I touch on that in the book. And let me just tell you the mistake that most people make when they create a vision statement. And I'm a big believer in vision statements, is that they think with the limited vision that based on the skills and resources and connections they have right now, they think too small. They don't realize that if I'm going to project out in 5 years, where do I want to be in 5 years from now and why? Well, you have to let your mind think big. Let it wander. Say, imagine if you knew all the things you needed to know. You had all the skills. You had the connections. Then how big could you be? How big could your business be? How much could you make? How wonderful would your life be? So don't be, when you're writing your vision statement, don't be held back and don't think small based on who you are right now and what you know. You can learn anything you need to learn, meet the people you need to meet. Once you know the straight line system, really, once you have even just proficiency, not expertise, just reasonable proficiency, you can go out there and just, accomplish things you never thought you could accomplish. And one of those things is meeting people, getting people to want to mentor you. People will start seeing this sort of light, this fire in you, and they want to be around that. So when you do your vision statement, don't think small, think big. Remember, every human, and this is not a cliche, this is the fucking truth. Every human being is capable of greatness. They are. Human beings are capable of greatness. What's happened to so many people out there is that you started off on day one being great. And then you've been conditioned and beaten down systematically, step by step, by whether it was your parents, your own friends, your teachers, the media. You've been conditioned to be average. You've been conditioned to survive and not to thrive, and that's a load of shit, okay? Any human being, if you have all your faculties, you're willing to go out there and work your tail off and learn what you got to learn, know what you got to know, you're capable of anything. So don't think small, think big. There's no nobility in thinking small, and there's no greatness in thinking small. The problem with, I'd say 98% of the world is not because they set their goals too high and they miss them. It's like, I set a lofty goal and I don't make it. No, that's not what happens. What happens to most people, almost all people, is they set their goals too low and they hit them. You get it? They don't set their goals high enough. They set a goal that's too low and they hit that goal, but it's not enough to make an impact. So when I say when you set a goal, or when you create a vision, I want you to stretch. I say this one, raise your hand as high as you can. They go, I say, okay, well, no, really, it's high. They say, oh, well, what the fuck is that? And I said it the first time, as high as you can, but there's always that extra bit of room there that you can stretch. That's what I want you to do when you create your vision statement. Now, again, you don't want to say, I want to be Bill Gates, then your brain says bullshit. So it's got to be grounded in reality, but stretch, think big, and then, again, part of that is going out and learning what you need to learn. There's going to be skills, resources, and one of them, by the way, is persuasion. Okay, the cornerstone skill for making money is learning how to close the deal, to make your ideas, your concepts, your thoughts known to people, okay? And this book will show you how. Bottom line, belfortbook.com for your signed copy. Let's keep going here. Okay. Next. Any questions, guys?
Your phone call guy didn't pick up. Tell people to start picking up.
Oh, we called a couple of people. We were supposed to phone a friend, and the people that we phoned that wanted to be phoned didn't pick up. So what should they do?
Answer the phone.
Oh.
It's a strange number.
Answer, if you get a call from a strange number, okay, it's going to be a sex line, okay? No, if you get a strange call, pick up, because it's going to be me answering your question. You get to speak to me. That's so cool, okay? All right, so here we are. We are now at Ferdinand from St. Gallen. Okay, what the fuck that is? Okay, so Ferdinand, I love that name. Okay, what are the 3 things you want to be remembered for by your family, friends, and the people at your funeral? Well, number 1, I want to be, by my family for sure, I want to be remembered as someone that put their family first, that I took care of my family, provided for my family, and always put my family at the top of everything. And that's true. It's one of my highest values for me, is to take care of my family. And for me, that's my why very often, is to make sure the people around me get to live the life that empowers them, that they're not have to worry where the next dollar's coming from, and not they don't work themselves, but it's important to me to be that person, okay? That's certainly one thing. Another thing is someone that never gave up. I think that's a great quality. It's something I want to be remembered for. Someone that, that just, could take a punch. And, the old cliche, it's not what happens when you get knocked down, it's what you do when you get back up, right? Or do you get back up? And I think on some level, I think what my life represents and why people are so attracted to the story of the Wolf of Wall Street, besides, listen, of course, the straight line is the straight line, right? This system, it just works and it makes people lots of money. But that's just part of it. I think what attracts people to the story is how I use this system to come back from utter failure and defeat, to come back from a place that should have cracked me and broken me, and yet somehow I was able to reverse that and channel that negativity, channel that failure, and flip it around into something amazing. Because all human beings go through downtimes. We all go through ups and downs. We're in bad spots, and probably many of you right now are facing challenges, and it's not easy always. Sometimes they're your own fault. Sometimes they're just not your fault. You're just born into the wrong circumstance, or something happens and just things don't go your way. But looking at my life, you have to say, God, this guy was in jail. He was smeared, vilified by the press. Wife left him on the courthouse steps. Children were gone. I lost everything. Yet, because I didn't give up, and because I was willing to learn a skill, I taught myself to write. That's right, I taught myself to write, wrote a book. Without teaching myself a skill, a new one, I would have never succeeded again. I would have been stuck as the old person. But by learning a new skill, I opened up a world of possibility that ultimately allowed me to go out and teach the most powerful persuasion system and to empower, millions of people around the world have learned the system because I didn't say die, I didn't give up. And that's what I say to you, no matter where you are in your life right now, I don't care how far you've fallen, if you're willing to put one foot in front of the other and learn, remember, you have to learn certain things. There are core skills. If you can't close the deal, if you don't know how to communicate, then you're gonna have a really tough time coming back from failure. And probably it's good chance it's probably why you're not in a good spot right now, because you don't know how to do what you need to do, which is sell yourself, sell the product that you want to sell. Without that, what can you do? You're stuck in a box. So I implore you, okay, whether you're at the tippy top of life right now or at the bottom, just remember this. There are certain things that you need to know to succeed in life. If you're at the top, well, that's the time to not get complacent. It's to keep yourself educated, stay strong, and keep going forward and be an example and a pillar and a beacon of hope to other people who are struggling, right? You want to be an example to people. If you're at the bottom, it's time to take a deep breath. If you need to draw the power from me, draw it from my life. Look at me and use me as your crutch. Learn the system and watch what happens to your life. Believe me, if you do even 1/10 as well as everyone else who learns the system, the only problem you'll have is you didn't learn it a few years ago, because you'd already be on easy street. When I say easy street, I don't mean that you get rich overnight. It's not that. What I'm talking about is that you'd be in a place where you'd be able to take action and know that if you put the work in, you're going to get the result. Because you know what you're doing, you have the right strategies behind you, and that's the bottom line, okay? Next question. So, how much time do you have, by the way?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
You want to play the game with Ann?
Sure, let's even take a sip of orange juice. We're going to do, okay, here's the game. Ready? So the game is 20 questions.
22 questions.
22 questions in how many minutes?
Well, it says in 2 minutes, but you can't do anything in 2 minutes because you will go on.
I can do something in 2 minutes.
Ah.
I can do it in 30 seconds if I have to, okay? He does it in 30 seconds. What are we talking about? Okay. Welcome to Sex Education Wolf Style, okay?
Oh my God.
All the women here blushing. Oh, come on. Not so terrible, All right. With you, honey, who could last more than 10 seconds? Okay, let's go.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Who inspires you most?
You.
No, really.
Who inspires you most? No, you inspire me because you were a single mom and you went out there. I'll tell you, in terms of ethics and integrity, you inspire me because you went out there and you come from a wealthy family. Yet you never took from your parents, and you went out there and you raised your son the way you wanted to raise your son. You never sacrificed your integrity ever, and you stayed true to yourself. That's something I've always had trouble doing, seriously, and I've learned from you to be a better person like that. Is that you are who you are, and you're not shy about that, and you make mistakes, and you're okay with that, and you don't care who likes you, who doesn't like you, because you like yourself, and that's a great quality.
I love you.
And hopefully that will get me laid today. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
It will, right?
2 minutes worth. Okay.
I've got 3 minutes going now. Okay.
Okay. Who would you like to trade places with if you could?
Roger Federer. Seriously. Next question.
Who makes you laugh the most?
Who makes me laugh the most? Wow, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Who makes me laugh the most? Me. I crack myself fucking up. It's true.
That is true.
I'm a fucking funny guy, okay? You know, I know I'm not that funny tonight, but I can be really funny, by the way. Which is why I'm going to get my own
Not
radio
even
show. One day, people ask me to do a podcast or radio show. I'm going to do it one day. I'm fucking threatening for a while, because I'm pretty fucking funny. Okay, so go.
If you do say so yourself.
If I do so myself.
Okay. Who is the most unexpected person in your phone?
Honey, if you want to do this in 2 minutes, you got to read the questions faster, okay?
Who's the most unexpected person in your phone?
In my phone?
Probably Coleman, right?
My phone. Agent Coleman from the FBI, right. I became friends with the guy who indicted me. Great guy, by the way. Fucking guy. And I nicknamed him OCD because the guy fucking chased me for 7 years. Okay, but I love him. He's awesome. Okay? Next.
Who is the last person you called or texted?
You.
Okay. And what is your professional favorite sport?
Tennis.
Yeah. What is the last book you read? Besides this
This
one.
book.
Yeah, besides this one.
The last book I read. Fuck. What's the last book I read?
You don't want anyone else's voice in your head when you're writing.
That's the problem. See, when I haven't read a book in a long time, because when you're writing, if I read someone else's book while I'm writing, it screws me up. So I haven't read a book in a long time. I should. That's terrible, right? Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. What is one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Apple juice?
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking 5-year-old kid, right? Apple juice!
Okay, it's going to get redundant here. What's your favorite pastime?
Tennis.
What's your secret snack?
Secret snack? Haagen-Dazs Oreo ice cream.
Okay. What is the last album you bought or streamed?
Album?
Or song album? I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Would be Rolling Stones.
Okay. What item would you love to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Ooh, Roger Federer's the tennis racket he used to win Wimbledon.
Okay, now a trivia. What item did you actually buy at auction that no one would ever believe you really owned for a while?
Oh fuck, the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence.
Weird Jordan Belfort trivia.
I bought, in 1989, a friend of mine, Al Abrams, back in the day, wild man, by the way. We went out and bought the Declaration of Independence for like $1.2 million and sold it for like $9 million. It was a big win.
Okay.
The Declaration is like 4 or 5 copies or something. We bought it, yeah. Some guy, some lucky bastard, found it in his attic. Like the guy was clean. He had a fucking picture, took the picture of the wall, and this Declaration, thought it was, it was bullshit. He brought it to a store, and there you go. And then he's auctioned off. We bought it for $1.2 million, and and I bumped the stocks. It became part of a stock scam, unfortunately. So sorry about that.
Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Fucking snowflakes. I fucking hate snowflakes. I hate these fucking people, by the way, who go out there, these social justice warriors. I want to fucking shoot them. So if you're on this thing, I hate you. No, I hate you. And you can hate me too, but I hate you, okay? I don't think you serve a purpose in this world, okay? I think you're out of your fucking minds, okay? And I'm the least prejudiced person in the world. I don't care. I have no prejudice, but I think you're out of your fucking minds. Next.
What is your favorite pizza topping?
Ooh. Anchovies.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember we used to order pizza with anchovies all the time?
You're a cheese pizza guy.
I'm a cheese pizza topping anchovies. Okay.
What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
Wonder Woman. I thought it was great. Not because Gal Gadot is hot. You're hotter, but Gal Gadot, I think
That's
she's
why you
pretty.
went.
No, okay,
That's
I
why
admit
you
it's why I
went.
went. She's hot. All right.
What color is your toothbrush?
No, she's also a fine actress. Good.
What color is your toothbrush?
My toothbrush, I have an electric white toothbrush. Yeah.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I can play the guitar,
And you're a magician.
and I'm a magician. You should answer the question. Yeah.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl,
You're a night.
which is why we have separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because we tried to share a bed for the first 2 years, and basically I ended up beaten to a pulp, okay, and almost without a great woman. So now we have different beds because Ann likes to sleep and very tidy, and she's
Most
very
people
neat.
do.
Well, me, I don't need to sleep that much, so there you go.
Okay. What cause is dear to your heart?
What causes dear to my heart? And it tells people who sign a lot. Just something happens. Your signature changes.
Your handwriting looks just like that as well.
No, I know. Well, I gotta see in penmanship. What can I fucking say? Man? You see my room before the maid comes.
People just need
Yeah, sorry about that. But it is me still. If you want, Ann will sign and make it look beautiful and neat, but it won't be me. So, you know. Okay? Let me answer another question here, right? As I'm saying. In an average day, what was the amount? Oh, BelfortBook.com. Don't forget to buy your signed copy of this awesome book at BelfortBook.com. No, it really is an awesome book. Okay. Okay, in an average day, what was the amount of clients you would actually speak with, and what would you say your average daily income was during that time? Well, I mean, it doesn't give a time frame. Let's say when I was a retail stockbroker myself before I opened the firm. So the goal was you try to speak. If I forget cold calling to get leads, but once I had a qualified lead, I try to get off like maybe 6, 7 pitches a day and close 2 or 3 of them. Now that's not 100% closing, but if you just close 2 or 3 people a day in the stock market, boy, you're making millions and millions of dollars. So that's the typical numbers for me. Okay, that was, by the way, to Durwood, Bewitched, Durwood, Andorra. You say Durwood from Wilson. No, I'm not making fun of you, Durwood, but Durwood from Bewitched. Okay, from Wilson, North Carolina. So Aaron from Appleton, Wisconsin. If you go back in your past, would you change anything? I said I would. I would not lose people money. I really would not. But I would still partake in all the massive quantities of drugs and hookers. Okay, so, not really. She doesn't mind. She knows. Listen, I personally think that it makes me pre-disaster. In other words, I've already made all those mistakes, cheated and all that stuff. I always said I did my best dating after I was married the first time, okay? Not a good quality. But the point is now I know better. I'm in my 50s and I love this woman more than anything, and she knows how loyal I am, and I know how strong she is, and I'll be dead if I do that, okay? Okay. She's a great right cross, okay? Jonathan from Bat Yam, Israel. From your experience, what is the most important skill for an entrepreneur is persuade. Seriously, I'm not just saying that because I want you to buy this book at Belfort.com, BelfortBook.com, okay? In all seriousness, the most important skill by far is the ability to close the deal. Now, again, it's not the only skill. It's just not. There are other skills you need too. But I liken it to almost like salt on, it's like, you always need some salt, right? It makes everything better. So, you could have the best idea in the world, but if you don't know how to express that idea, right? Like I said in the beginning, I said, an idea is 100 out of 100, but then you communicate it, you're a 1/10 communicator. You take your idea down to a 10 out of 100, right? So think about that, okay? Don't be one of those people who dies with your music on your lips. Don't be one of those people who works twice as hard as you have to make up for the lack that you suck at communicating. Or selling, if you want to call selling, communicating, persuading, just don't be that person that just goes out there and makes, you almost force yourself to work twice as hard as you have to because you don't know how to close the deal. I always say that, there's only one way to get rich in this world, and that's quick. Now, I'm not talking about a get-rich-quick scheme. That's not what I'm saying. There's lots and lots of work that you have to do to get up to the point where everything is lined up, and then you start getting rich quick. So in other words, it's like you're an overnight success after 5 years of really hard work. But let me just tell you, and any rich person will tell you this is true. When you're actually making money and you're in the zone and you got it, it is fucking easy and it happens fast. It's all the work that you have to do to get to that point when everything is right. So there is only one way to get rich, and that's quickly when it's happening, right? The most important skill to line up of all, there are many skills, is closing the deal. So don't put yourself behind the 8 ball. Don't go through life with a subpar communication platform in your brain. With a brain that, imagine, you have one part of your brain that generates the ideas, right? That's like that intelligence, great idea. And then the part that expresses the idea, and it's deficient. What the hell is that about? How could you possibly want to go through life like that? I don't understand people that would allow themselves to go through life that way when there's a solution. There's a solution to the problem. Learn how, you want to become a piano player? Take fucking piano lessons. You want to be a tennis player? Take tennis lessons. You want to play chess? Take chess lessons, right? There's strategies for everything. If you want to be successful, then take communication lessons. It's not just me saying it. Warren Buffett will tell you the same exact thing. And he's a guy that I respect pretty much as much as anybody when it comes to money and success. Without Warren Buffett taking a course in persuasion, you know what he'd be right now? The most successful money manager that no one ever heard of in Omaha, Nebraska. He wouldn't be Warren Buffett. It's the ability to express yourself and to close the deal at the end of the day. That's what makes it happen for someone, okay? So all you out there, you know, again, go through this book and keep going. Use it like a textbook. Put it by your bed. It's a snappy read. It took me 2 years to write because it's fun. I made it funny so you'd enjoy it. I wanted it to be a thing that would be a page turner, but everything that you need to succeed in influence, it's all in there. I didn't hold anything back, all right? It was 2 years, it was a labor of love more than anything, and it was my wife that really forced me to write this book because it's my legacy, all right? There's better ways to make, I promise you, there's a lot better ways to make money than to write a book. It was not about that. It was about giving a gift to people. Seriously, this book is a gift, and it's a gift you give to yourself. And I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again because we're almost out of time, is that people treat their fucking pets better than they treat themselves. Invest in yourself. Give yourself a gift, okay? And learn how to close the deal. Don't go through life with a substandard communication strategy locked in your head, sabotaging you and bastardizing your great ideas and bastardizing who you are as a person. Whether it's that you just want to go out and meet the right person, you have a partner for life, God, you know, there's no better way to go. My wife, she's a beautiful woman who could have any man. This is the ultimate sale was getting her, okay? And a straight line her, God knows, okay? So, you know, this is about relationships. It's about life. It's about money. It's about being the best you can be and feeling good about yourself. Don't go through life halfway. Like, you know, I say there's 2 ways to go through life. You can go through life like a 100-watt light bulb, burning bright and feeling great, or a 10-watt dull light bulb. I mean, God fucking wants to live like that. You live once. Life is a gift. Don't waste it. Okay, seriously, buy the book. I promise you won't be sorry. BelfortBook.com. You get a signed copy, and I hope to see you soon. Are we almost out of time here?
Yeah, you can wrap whenever you're ready.
Okay, so guys, I love you. I'm going to sign the rest of these books. Again,
No one answered the phone.
don't read it. Don't read this just once. Okay. Underline the passages. There's stuff in there that's really going. There's certain parts of this stuff that's just like they're like $1 million tips in here. Okay, so read it again, and you deserve it. You deserve to have the life you want. This book will help you get there. God bless you. I love you all, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.